All right, guys, we're back again. Dynamic Man Podcast, episode 45. 45. Are we going to get 52 episodes of Dynamic Man before the end of this year? I wonder if we can do it. I think we're getting close. I think we might pull it off. 7 more episodes, month and change. I think we can do it. I think we can pull it off. We didn't even start Dynamic Man until like late January, right? I think we can do it, guys. I think we can do it. Hold on, let me I'm gonna live tweet this. I'm gonna live tweet that we are live. If you guys are here, leave a comment in the chat. As always, leave a comment in the chat. I said live now, a Dynamic Man. Hold on a second. Guys, this is a big episode tonight. A big episode. I wish I had promoted it more. It's a big episode tonight. I really feel this is going to be an important episode. I have so many like screenshots of walls of text. I don't know if I'm going to actually read the walls of text in entirety. What I'll do is I'll probably link on YouTube. I'll probably link on YouTube what we're talking about, because I don't want to like spend the entire time reading my texts and even reading the full amount of other people's text. But guys, if you were here, leave a comment in the chat. We're going to get going with this in a second. I also want to point out that I have a pretty fascinating wine tonight. A pretty fascinating wine from Guivray. It's a Premier Cru Guivray 2020. I got to be honest, guys. I do not know the exact appellation. I mean, Guivray is an appellation. I don't know exactly where this is in Burgundy. I know it's a Burgundy. Let's see here. I'm gonna look it up real fast. So it is, it's in the Côte Chalonnais. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Very interesting, because this is usually that's right. I remember this now. I remember it now. See, sometimes, guys, I have to go back to my days in the wine industry, or prior when I was studying this stuff. I remember it now. But yeah, I haven't had this in a very long time, if ever. I don't know that I've ever. It's mostly a red wine region. They have only like a little bit of white. Super interesting. This is a very good wine. It's a very look at this. It's almost like an olive brine color, and it tastes like green olive. It's green olive, perfume, buttered popcorn. That maybe doesn't sound appetizing to you, and some of you would not like this wine. Absolutely fascinating. The malolactic fermentation that's creating that buttered popcorn is like really. This is a cool wine. This is a really cool wine. I'm really big on it. But that olive brine, that acidity, that's going to turn some people off. Not me, though. Not me. I like acidic wines. This is a killer. This is a cool wine. If you're looking, and I don't think this is not bank breaking. It's not cheap, but it's not bank breaking like a lot of Burgundies are. All right, guys. So as we continue this saga, this content saga, right? I feel like the last 2 months of my experience on X have been characterized by me talking about polarity, fighting against tarred wives. I'm not going to call them trad wives. I'm going to call them tarred wives. Just a lot of like the Christian feminism in the church. It'll change of pace from my usual stuff where I'm dealing with red pillars. So it's kind of coming full circle. I want you guys to understand something about my content and what my mission is, okay? Because I know most of you guys watching this probably already agree, or at least mostly agree. But my objective in this entire conversation, I am trying to create family formation and the revitalization of dynamics between men and women around the world. But, you know, obviously I'm focused on the West. I'm from the West. The West is dying. It's dying. You could say the world is mostly dying. You could say civilization is dying. It's dying out. It's dying out in large part because men and women can't come together. We are depolarized. Our courtship rituals are totally fucked up. And we need to fix it. I am not above calling out women for their entitlement. I'm not going to play this stupid bullshit game where we're going to pretend that women have contributed in no way to what's going on right now. I'm not going to pretend that the drift among women towards not wanting to have families, or the drift among women to not want to get married, not want to have kids, the drift among women towards communist ideals, the drift among women to being fucking retarded. I'm not gonna say, oh man, if only I just led more like she would have liked, then she would have been better. I'm not gonna play that gaslighting. You can take that gaslighting and you can get the fuck out of here with it. Women have very, very serious problems today. They need to be called out. It's really unfortunate that you don't see a lot of women calling them out. I don't like to be the one who calls them out. I don't actually, it's not my, I work with men. Women reach out to work with me all the time. There were some peers I was getting like one a week. Turn them down. I've worked with like 2 women, and one of them not in a dating capacity. The other ones I sort of dipped my toes into the water with that when I got out of prison, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing that. This is not, I don't want to work with this. It's a problem. It's a problem. But at the end of the day, they're not entirely wrong. It's a paradox, right? Women are very, very seriously the problem. Not the only problem, by the way, but they are very, very much a part of the problem. And yet, the solution to the problem is not in attacking women. It's not in hating women. It's not in resenting women. And it's not in trying to dominate women. I mean that dominate as in force women to do certain things. And so I'm going to say this to guys, and like a little paraphrase of what I said in this big post. Okay. This whole post that I wrote is an extremely important topic for the guys in this corner of the internet who need to internalize it, right? This post was in response to this viral video of this woman who, or viral tweet, whatever. She got a degree. Honestly, she's playing the internet. She got this degree. She posted stuff on there. She did a good job with it. Credit where credit's due. But she got this degree, and the response of men is to say, this isn't going to help you to find a husband. You're not going to have kids. You're childless, blah, 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 blah. I don't understand what guys think this is going to accomplish. It's the same kind of energy when I have some like, she, her, pansexual whore make fun of my hairline when I have a family and 3 kids. It reeks of sexual frustration. It reeks of being a fucking loser. That's what it reeks of. I just want to say that first off. When you're attacking women online for having some accomplishment in the field, it's not that you're even wrong. People aren't wrong about my hairline, for instance, right? They're not wrong about it. But you miss the point. What is persuasive and what is not persuasive? What is anti-persuasive? A woman goes and she gets a degree. Well, maybe that wasn't the best use of her time. Let's just say probably it wasn't. You can't say 100% because some women are genuinely very intelligent and are cut out for academia. We can talk about the DEI stuff. We can talk about how it's unfair. We can talk about how, there's a lot of problems with this. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I'm like super excited about women going and getting, graduate degrees en masse. Although I'm certainly not, sorry if it makes me a cuck, I'm not opposed to women being able to go to college and get graduate degrees. I'm not anti-female education. And if that's your position, if that's your solution to things, go live in fantasy lands. Go live in some fantasy world where that actually happens. It's not going to happen. And if it does happen, you're not going to like the world that comes with it. We are in a society that's rotting, but not collapsing. Exactly. It's kind of complicated. There are going to be the value prop is, let me put it this way. We are not returning to a state of nature in that people are going to start starving en masse in Western countries, or there's going to be no access to information or whatever. We are not going back to the Stone Age where the whole cycle restarts and people don't have food to eat and gangs of men come together and violently seize what they need, and women congregate around those men for protection and become breeders for those men. That's the state of nature. We're not returning to that. That's not where things are going. If you want things to go that way, please get your head checked, because that is a very, very bad world. And you have no idea what you're asking for. And if you talk to anybody who's been in war, you clearly haven't even been in a war. Because if you talk to people who have been in a war, who have been in violent situations, no one wants that. It's very, very bad. So get your head checked. If you actually don't actually get your head checked, because you'll get some shitlib female therapist. But take a step back, touch grass, have a glass of Burgundy. Life's better when you have a glass of Burgundy, okay? Please gain some perspective on the situation. That's not where we're going. Where we're going is not that women are not going to have access to higher education. Where we're going is that the value proposition of women doing these things is diminishing. That's where we're going. The value proposition of stupid fucking bullshit jobs in degrees and status symbols is disappearing. We are in some sense returning to nature, but not necessarily in the terrible, terrible sense, terrible way where we have scarcity, but in the inverse where we have abundance, and we have to discover what is it that is actually going to give us the most joy and satisfaction in life. This is a question for men and women. It's a question for all the men out there who are working some job that gives them zero joy, zero meaning, guys who are living in fear, not doing the kind of things that they should be doing in life that they know they could be doing. It's a question for them, and it's a question for women as well. It's not, can a woman do something? It's not, is a woman allowed to do something? It's that, is a woman best served by doing something? The answer to that question is actually very obvious, and guys know it's obvious, but they fucking suck in this corner of the internet because they're so frustrated themselves. They don't actually know how to lead. They don't understand what leading is. They think leading, just like feminists, they think leading means being in charge. And they mean that in a very, very strict hierarchical sense. They lose the essence of it and only focus on the structure, which is, by the way, a very masculine thing to do. And it's what feminists do. Feminists believe the same thing. Feminists, guys will say, I want a feminine woman. And then they will literally mimic feminist talking points that treat women like they have no use except to breed. I made a post a couple of days ago, like a week or so ago, in a facetious manner to a feminist. Like, okay, you want to play this game that a lot of men are worthless? I agree with that. And you're breeding stock. That's if you want to play state of nature. That's how it is. Quarter of the men are dead. Half the men get one girl, the other quarter get the rest. Fight another tribe, kill the men, take the women. Okay? You have about a 25% surplus of women to men, and the top men get that surplus. That's how it was. Even in Caucasian groups, even in Caucasian tribes who were pretty much monogamous, during periods of loss or surplus of women, those women, there would be a number of women who actually had, men who had multiple women. It was modified a bit later on with Christianity, but whatever. I don't want to digress on the topic. You do not offer a woman anything. You're not being persuasive when you tell a woman, you're fucking stupid. Oh, you got a degree, you're fucking stupid. You should have just gotten married. You should have gotten married and let a man provide for you. You're fucking dumb. You're not going to have kids now. How do you think a woman is going to respond to that? Do you think a woman hears when a man says that? Don't put aside for the fact that maybe it's true. And by the way, I'm not saying lie to a woman, but I'm saying how you frame and position arguments is very important. Because you can tell a woman this in a very different way than what you're saying. Just like you can tell your wife, if she's put on a little bit of weight, you can talk to her about how she can lose weight, how you feel about her. I feel like we've really, like, we gotta tighten up with our diets. We've kind of let things go. I want to go to the gym together. I want to get this going on. I really, and you can even be a little bit more honest about, like, I feel like you used to really take care of yourself, and I don't know if it's a stress. You stop taking, you can have these conversations, right? You can have it in a constructive way. You can say, what the fuck is going on with you? You got fat. The fuck? You're fat. I don't want to be with a fat girl. You got to go to the gym. You feel how different those two things are? Both of them are truth, right? Both of them are truth, but one of them is cruel use of truth, and one is truth expressed with love. One is expressed with the intent to say, hey, this is not who you are. This is not who you are. You can be better. You have been better. How can I help you to be better? One is, who the fuck do you think you are? So, this is a really important thing to anchor yourself into. It's a very, very important thing to anchor yourself into. You have got to understand that if you talk to women with contempt, if you talk to women with abuse, with the intent to bring them down, women are not going to choose to be with you. They are not going to trust you as men. They are not going to want to be with you. They're going to choose to go their own way because they can't trust you. They can't trust you to appreciate things that they've accomplished, even if those are not the most feminine things. Then you're going to have problems, right? You're going to have problems with women. You're going to find a lot of women don't want to be with you because your attitude towards them is negative and you bring them down. It's not good leadership. If we start from the principle that being a leader means bringing people up, that's a good start. If we start from the principle that being a good follower brings a woman up, then we have a vision in mind. So we can see a woman and we can see a path a woman's going down. And by the way, not every woman's going to be receptive to this, either because of where they're at developmentally, or because of the fact that they, maybe it's not their path, or maybe they're just not there to receive the message. But the bottom line is a lot of women are going through life. They're going to college, they're getting jobs, and they're doing it because they're trying to keep up with some rat race themselves that they think that they're supposed to do, that it gains them some sort of status, right? But what they don't really love it. They don't really love it. It's not really what they want, per se. But they're going to go down that path if they can't find a man who offers them a more compelling alternative. We talk a lot about the system, how the state has taken over the role of being sort of daddy, right? The hypergamy of the state. Women are looking to the state to meet their needs. They're looking to the system rather than to their husband. Okay. How are you supposed to compete with that? Here's how you compete with it. Because you're not going to compete with it from being more wealthy than the state. You're not going to do that. You're not going to compete with it by being more like cool. That's not how you compete. You can't compete with the biggest dog on the block, which is the entire corporate, governmental, cultural, and entertainment complex. You can't do that. This is what people in this corner of the internet don't get. Why won't you choose me? You know, it's the same. Oh, you're going to choose to go down that path? What he says? What the media says? You sound like someone who's lower on the hypergamy hierarchy. You sound like someone who's been sexually rejected. And you don't sound like a man she can trust. But if you're thinking from the perspective of outside the system, is the system serving her? Is the guy she thinks is cool, is what the system says, is that job, is that career path, is that route in life, is that actually serving her best self? Is that something that is going to make her truly happy? You have to know what's going to make her happy better than she does. You have to see that she's following something stupid, something that is not beneficial to her, right? You have to see that. You have to see it better than she can see it. And if you can see that better than she can see it, if you can see that, I don't think you really want this. What do you actually want? You ask her, right? You find out what she would like to do if she didn't have if she didn't have any fear, right? Paint a picture. How would you like this? How would you like this life? How would you like to have a big yard, nice garden, be able to go to brunch with your friends, have a few kids? There's a lot of things here, like you paint the picture of the life she could have. And as you paint that picture for the woman, she starts to be like, yeah, I want that. And you're like, or you see something that she's been doing, and you say, this isn't taking you in that direction. I can give that to you, though. I want to give that to you. And it's not just about, like, I would also encourage you, especially if you have a woman who's a little bit like more intelligent, who's got a little bit more of like a head on her shoulders, who's very competent. I would encourage you to like actually think about what she could do even beyond having kids. Because I'll tell you, like, I think a lot of women out there have more to offer. I'm not saying every woman, by the way, but a lot of men don't have a lot more to offer than their basic, job. And that's just how it is. But I think a lot of women have more to offer than that. But the point is not like making it exclusive. The point is not saying that like it's one or the other. You're supposed to be a wife and you're supposed to go and, take care of me, take care of the kids. Like that, you talk about it like in a forced way, you just don't persuade. And you're not going to be able, like, putting aside anything else, you're not going to be able to persuade a woman to take that position. You're just not going to be able to do it. A feminine woman is going to feel best submitting to her man. But she is only going to submit to a man this day and age for two reasons. She has low self-esteem. She has really low self-esteem. And she doesn't feel like she can make any decisions for herself. And she wants someone to take care of her. And if you're a manosphere guy who dates a woman like that, if you want that, you're a little sick in the head, because that means you really do want a slave. It means you feel powerless yourself, so you need someone who feels really, really powerless. You need someone to control. Not good. Very toxic formation. Or you are going to get a woman who is a parasite, but you will accept her being a parasite because she flatters you, because you get to make the decisions, but she's totally useless. I'm going to tell you, I know guys who either have kids with or who married women who are incompetent and useless, emotionally incontinent, emotionally broken, stupid. And you want to make life hard for yourself, go ahead and knock one of those women up. Go ahead and marry one of those women. They are absolutely the worst. Oh yeah, they're submissive. They'll do what you say because they're retarded. That's why they'll do it. Great. You have a retarded person as, part of your responsibility. And by the way, I'm not trying to be mean. I know people have mentally challenged kids and everything, but no, none of the parents who actually have a mentally challenged child would say like, yeah, I'm happy I got this. They might value their child, and they might, from the big picture perspective, be happy they got this because they're happy they had that child. But nobody wishes, in the same way that nobody would wish to like lose a limb, even if they, I wouldn't wish to go to prison, even though I got benefit out of the situation, right? I don't have to qualify that stuff for you guys, but I want to, because there are a lot of mentally challenged children who bring a lot of joy to your lives, bring a lot more joy actually than a really stupid wife. Like, I would much prefer to have a child with Down syndrome than a really dumb and incompetent wife, because at least a child with Down syndrome has a lot of joy, brings joy, is happy. A stupid wife is never going to be happy because she has low self-esteem, right? So my wish for my wife is so talented, so capable, but the goal was not to retire her, so to speak, from her job because, oh, well, I want to have her under my thumb and she can. No, this is like, there's a temporary aspect to it because we have 3 kids under 5. That's the first part. But the second, and we're going to have more, and she's a great mom, but the second part to it is that the job that she's doing, it's not best serving her gifts. She can do the job. Is it fulfilling her? No. I'm looking to see how can I help her to do something that she has talent for, that she can create. If I told my wife, I want a woman who's going to be a housewife, who's going to just stay home all the time. I don't really care what your goals are, what your dreams are. I'm not going to, like, you have to be this. I want you to be this. A lot of women are not going to be happy about that. It's one thing to ask a woman to do something like this for a season. A lot of women, especially women with spirit, are not going to be happy with doing that all the time. Maybe that triggers some guys in this corner of the internet, but the bottom line is, that's the truth. That's the truth. If you want a woman to submit to you today, she will do it if you are leading in more of her best interest, if you have a vision for her and for you too, the two of you and your family and your future. If you have that vision, she will surrender to you. But if you don't, if your whole thing is, no, you're going to do exactly what I want you to do because you're a woman and you should be having kids, It's just like so uncompelling. And guys in this corner of the internet need to get it out of their head. They need to. It doesn't look good. I'm just telling you, it doesn't look good and it doesn't work. I know how it works. I know how to make it work. I know how to make it work. Yeah, I'm not saying you're going to get every single woman, because some women are very stubborn and some women, are not operating in good faith. But if you have a woman who's operating in good faith, she's going to give up her quote unquote plans that the system had for her. If you see, no, your real gift is here and we need to make this happen. And by the way, we're going to have a big family because you want that too, because you're a natural mother. So we're going to have it all in this sense, not have it all in the corporate feminist sense, which is go work your ass off 60-hour weeks and then freeze your eggs. Try to find a man at 38. Didn't work out. And we're not talking about that sense. We're talking about, we're going to go do this. We're going to have our family. I know what your gifts are, and we're going to find a way to help you manifest it. I'm going to work hard. I'm going to use my resources, our resources. There are resources, and we're going to build something beautiful together, something that's synergistic. I'm not going to tell you what my wife and I have planned, but it's beautiful. And actually, just even the other night, it started to really crystallize for me at the table because we were talking about it. And I was like, this is actually what you're meant to do. And I'm not saying it like you're going to do what I want. It's literally like I look at her and I can see this is where our shared mission is bringing us with your set of skills in so many years. It's how woman surrenders to you. That's how she'll do it. Next Dynamic Man podcast, I'm going to change the title to this because some of these things are not appropriate because we didn't get into the vetting portion. There's other things here I want to talk about, but I'm going to close it out for here, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. This is very important because you have to know how to lead a woman. You want to lead correctly. Lead correctly. Because if you don't know how to lead, if you try to lead, if you try to go, I wouldn't even say necessarily it's going backwards, but if you're trying to go back to something where a woman is just going to feel like she has no agency, that's just not where we're at. You're not reading the room properly. You're not reading the room properly. And if you're not, you don't know where we're at as a society, you're going to get left behind. Women are not going to choose you and you're going to be frustrated. And that is actually part of the reason that the birth rate is falling apart, is because women need to step into submission and men need to step into leadership, but it's a different iteration of leadership and submission than it was before. It's a different level of it all. You got to learn it. All right. Cheers, gentlemen. It's great having you on here tonight. And we'll probably do COVID Cabal Sunday, I'm hoping, because otherwise I'm not going to get till Thanksgiving. Maybe we'll do a Thanksgiving episode, but love you guys. Have a great weekend. I will see you later.